We are live. Welcome Thursday mornings, as always, at Circle Leadership Headquarters in the studio. We are talking about mission. Now, we've been doing a lot of talk this past few weeks about mission and various different perspectives. Today, though, what I want to share with you guys is how to take your mission and turn it into reality, or bring it into reality, for want of a better term. Because when people set their mission, which is what does your business need to become in the next 3 years? Who do we need to evolve into to start creating that world that we see? We've talked about over the past few weeks about vision being the picture of the world. Imagine a world where whatever you see that world, the impact you want to have on the world in 10 or 20 years time. Well, working back to say in the next 3 years, well, who do we need to become from where we are today? Who do we need to become in the next 3 years to start creating that world? And remembering that's how we create the culture and strategy alignment, because mission is therefore then born from vision and it's in total alignment. And then your culture can act as a shield and protect your mission, and your strategy comes from your mission, which we'll be talking about in coming weeks. But you'll have all this mapped out. So once we've got our mission, right? So here's our mission. It's who we need to become as an organization in the next 3 years. It's who we need to evolve into to stay relevant in the hearts and minds of the people that we choose to serve. And okay, here we are. Here's who we need to become. Now, how do you start to bring that into reality? Firstly, you need to reverse engineer how you're going to create, or become that organization by looking at what are our 3-year objectives. What must be accomplished in the next 3 years to show we've become that organization, hence forming your strategy. What must be accomplished in the next 12 months to be on track for that for 3 years? And what do we need to do in the next 90 days to start doing that in the next 12 months? So you reverse engineer that down, and then you'll be able to look at what would be the results for each of those objectives in 3 years, 12 months, and 90 days. So you've ended up getting this reverse engineered plan on how to become that organization, using a what must be accomplished strategy, not a how to accomplish strategy. Because here's the important part to understand in context with all this. When you've mapped out your mission, you've got who we need to become, you've got your objectives, your key results, everything mapped out for the 3 years to show this is how we know we've become this organization. Here's the team we must have. Here's the brand we must have. Here's the clients we must have. Here's the financial performance we must have. Here's the system and operations we must have. Here's the industry impact or influence or whatever else it might be. Those core objectives are all mapped out and how you're going to measure those. They're all set up now. What we need to be able to look at then in that space is, so let me preface this too, by the way, words form a narrative, numbers tell the story. So now you have your narrative and your story for 3 years and what 12 months is. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 years. No one has a magic ball who can tell me exactly, or crystal ball that can tell me exactly what's going to happen in the next 3 years. But what you can do is go, well, here's what must be accomplished to show we've become that organization. In 3 years is the window which we would like to have that accomplished by. How you accomplish that can and will change all the time. But knowing what must be accomplished becomes mandatory. When we get there and how we get there can become arbitrary. So we don't recommend, when you're setting out your mission and developing your objectives, that they become how-tos. It's more what must be accomplished. How would we measure that? Not how would we do that. How would we measure that at 3 years? Then the same process for 12 months. Then the same process for 90 days. And then only then, once we've got the 90-day objectives and then the key results mapped out, how are we going to do every 90 days? So you've reverse engineered the organization. You start moving forward in 90-day sprints or cycles, if you wish. I'm working about how we're going to do every 90 days. So the how-to, the tactical part only comes in there. Now, what has that got to do with bringing your mission into reality? Well, first part is you have to break it down into smaller bite-sized pieces, smaller milestones along the way. We can start with the big milestones, the objectives for the 3 years and the 12 months. And then when you get down to the 90 days, what we challenge you to do is pick the three most important things that must happen this quarter, and what the key results would be for each of those. And then how are you going to then get people involved in the work, involved in decisions about the work, to start map out the how-to. Okay, so that's the fundamental way to start bringing your mission into reality, is firstly reverse engineer it, then in short cycles and sprints of 90 days, start executing on it on a regular basis. And breaking that down, you can go from each quarter to going, okay, each month, where do we need to be? Each week, what are we working on? How's things going today? Okay, that's just the fundamentals of reverse engineering something. But here's how to use it at a philosophical level, or even from a leadership point of view, how to use your mission to bring itself into reality. Because really, you don't actually go out to become the the mission of the organization. What you're actually doing is you're bringing that mission into being. Right. So we're going to be from who we are today to become that. We're going to start day by day bringing that into being. And here's how you do that. So if I was to go over here and say, here's current reality, here's where we are today, here's our business today, this is who we are. Now, in 3 years' time, over here, this is who we need to become as an organization. We must become this. All right. And so for us at Circle Leadership, for example, we must become a global community of purpose-driven leaders. So that's our mission for the next 3 years, is to build a global community, become a global community of purpose-driven leaders. So me as a leader, I can go back to wherever I am at the moment here in current reality. I go, hey, based on this here right now, we're working through something. We're going, let me just jump into the mission for a second here. If we were already this global community evolving purpose-driven leaders now, if we were already that, what would we be doing here that we're not doing there? And then what of that could we start doing there? So by taking the mission and going, if we were already that, thinking as if we were already the global community that we must become, what would we be doing here that we could actually bring over to here that we could actually start doing now? And every time you do that, we go, if we were already that, what are we doing there? And we start to go, well, what of that, because it might not be all of it, but what of that could we start doing in this quarter or this moment? We then actually start to bring that actually into reality. This is how you bring your mission into reality. We're not going out to our mission. We're using that as the reference point to go, okay, well, if that's the reference point, and if we were already this, we would be doing this, this, and this. Well, what of that can I take and bring into reality here and start doing in our business now? Okay. So there's the fundamentals of reverse engineering your mission from your 3-year objectives to your 12-month objectives to your 90-day objectives, and getting all the key results, and then getting your tactical plan on how you're going to do it in 90-day cycles, looking at what you're doing every month, looking at what you're doing every week, looking at what we're doing today. So we're really breaking it into small digestible pieces to make it easier to execute on. But then also, the part of the how-to and the things that where you can discover the how-tos is by going into the future, into that mission, and going, what would we be doing there? And then what of that can we start doing now in this particular quarter, this week, this day, this month, this situation, this scenario? We had a client just recently who was saying, we're struggling with this thing here and that at the moment. I'm like, oh, that's cool, great. When you become that, what would you be doing there that you're not doing now? And they go, well, we'd probably be doing this, 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 and this. Okay, what of that could you start doing? Oh, well, we could actually start doing this. Oh, so we can actually take that right now and apply it to what we're doing right now and fix that. And I said, yes. And that is you now bringing that mission into reality here in this moment, in this day, right now. Okay, that's how you bring your mission into reality. Get your clearly defined mission for the next 3 years that's going to evolve you. And this is part of the evolution process, right? The steady, progressive increase of our capabilities and our capacity for greatness as we become the organization that we need to become. But we're actually doing it by bringing it into reality every single day, through every single question, through every moment. This is why you need to have a clearly defined mission. This is why you as a leader on your toolbox, you go, hang on, is this a mission question? Is this going to help us become what we need to become? And if so, what would we be doing then that we're not doing now? And let's start doing whatever we can of that and bring that into reality. That's it. I know it sounds simple, but it's one of the most simplistic practices you can do to start bringing your mission into reality. Once you already have your plan and everything, your roadmap, as we would help you define your roadmap, already defined and mapped out, and as you move forward in executing it, the ideas can come from stepping into that world and bringing it into reality every single day. That's it. Any questions, comments? We have a mission workbook to help you craft your mission, understand some of these things. Hashtag mission evolves in the comments. Jordan will get you the link to the workbook. Once again, thank you everybody for tuning in, as you always do. I wanted to keep this one short and sharp because it's a really simple practice. Just start thinking through that lens. If we were already that, what would we be doing that we're not doing now? And what of that can we start doing now? And start. Bring your mission into reality. Till next week.